In this video, we are going to be analysing PDD. So to get straight into it, firstly, it is one of the leading gappers today, being up over 13% as we're recording this, which is about midday market time. Now, going forward, what do we think is going to happen to this stock? So, interesting what's happened today. Obviously, we've pushed up 13%. Where have we started to slow down? Exactly at our first deviation on the 6 month. So again, this is why these levels are key. Yes, this one's now happened, so you can't really trade it off this one, but now you know how they react going into future levels. So we go back to the intraday chart. We were coming into the $77. What happens? This is exactly where, if you go inside, we'll probably even see volume start to decrease. Yeah, we start to see volume decrease coming into this level and trend start to reverse. So again, that's why these levels are key. The first time you come into this level, you expect a pullback. Exactly what we had here. Again, didn't hit to the T. But again, either or direction is still clear. Once we came into here, we start to reverse. So again, that's how you use these levels for the first hit of it. Now what are we looking for? So if you're more bullish on it, then what you're waiting for is a break of this $77. And what we want to see is a break above it, come back to test it as a support, and if it holds, we would flip more bullish on it. And where would we be bullish to? So we would have a target at $78.50. Now, very close to where that level, that support would be. Is it worth trading for about a point? That's up to you, probably not. And again, because that is so close together, it'll probably be used more as a range. Again, you'll probably get faked out trying to trade that level. So instead, if I was long biased, the first time you hit 77, again, we flipped bullish. The first time we hit 78.50, again, I would probably be a bit bearish, expecting a pullback. Doesn't mean I think it's going to continue to sink. A pullback at a minimum, but it could also be a reversal zone. That's why we get in some size. We lock in profits after a point or so, because again, that's a pullback trade. And then move our stock to break even. If it continues to fall, we got size. If it starts to push back up, cool, we get stopped out in the remaining size. Not the end of the world. And still a profitable trade. But now, if we can break $78.50, what we want to see is a break above, come back to test it as a support, and if it holds, good indication that we're going to continue up. And where do we expect a push to? 87 slash kind of $88. That's going to be our next zone. And again, what's really nice on this stock is these levels are very close together. Making them zones makes them so much easier to trade, because again, the pullbacks are going to be stronger. And once you get that break over, if you do, and you get that test as a support, that confirmation is that bit stronger, and again, more likely that the trend continues. So that's why it's really nice to have it on this, and it's going to make this stock a lot easier to trade. Now again, the same thing, if we break the $88, come back to test it as a support and it holds, where do we see us going from here? $98. Again, the same level on both the 6 month and the 1 year. So again, another really strong level, but now this is the third deviation on the 6 month and also the fourth deviation on the 1 year. Here, I would flip bearish no matter what. Reason for that is here, we are very overbought on a technical standpoint. On a statistical basis, we are very overbought coming into this level. So I wouldn't look to trade longs past this level and would only really have a bearish approach. Again, I'd probably take the short on the 98, even larger size. Again, I would still be locking in profits a point down. And the reason for that is, again, you don't know if this is still going to be the reversal point. Yes, the probability is more in your favor, but again, there's no point losing money on a profitable trade. So again, down a point, lock in profits, maybe only 20% of the position instead of say 50 on the normal pullback. Lock in 20, move our stock to break even. If trend continues, again, big profits can be made. If it goes against us, cool, we'll get out that trade with a bit of profit or maybe break even. Either way, that's how I'll be looking to trade it. And if we break over that level, again, very unlikely, but if we do, 110 will be that kind of final level we're paying attention to. And again, the same thing, wouldn't look to trade long bias anywhere near here, but if we did push up to here, again, I'll be looking for that bearish approach. Now, onto the support side. And again, I think I kind of have to clarify this, because sometimes you get it in the comments. It's what you're saying, the stock can go either direction. Well, yes. We as traders, well, we as anyone, don't know what direction a stock is going to go. You can never say it's going to go up. You can never say it's going to go down. So what else can you do? You can be prepared. And that's what this video does. We give you levels to the support and resistance side. So I don't care what your bias is on the stock. Whether you want to trade it long bias, whether you want to trade it short bias, it doesn't affect me. All we can do is be prepared to trade either direction. So we give you supports, we give you resistances, because if we start to trade to the upside, you have what are we looking at as a pullback location, what are we then turning into a support and giving us a long bias confirmation. That is all provided there. Now let's say the stock starts to sell off, or you only want to trade the stock short bias. What can we do? So we have a support at we kind of have supports at $68, $66 and $58. Now how can you use this as a short bias trader? You come down to this level, again use it as a zone. The first time you tap this, you'll probably get a bit of a bounce, but again, so if you want to be traded long bias, you get that bounce. Otherwise you can wait for a break below $66, get that retest as a resistance, and again that gives us our confirmation that more than likely we're going to continue lower. And where do we expect the move to? $58 or kind of $59. So again, that's how we use these levels. I don't care what your bias is, long, short bias, doesn't matter. Again, just be prepared for either direction. It's kind of stupid to think you'll always be right. You're never going to always be right, so instead be prepared. Now if we break $59, we then have a next support at $55.80. Breaking through there would be $49, $45, $38, $34 and $29. And now what else is kind of showing on this trade is it's a lot cleaner to trade to the upside as it is to the downside. You can see to the upside, the deviations are very close, which this means is the pullbacks are going to be much stronger and the confirmation of those levels, if you break them, are going to be much stronger. So this just tells us if you're trading it to the upside, it's going to be a lot of an easier trade. You can have a much tighter stop and you know where your reward is. To the downside, yes, there's still trading opportunity, but you need to be a bit more careful because, again, sometimes the risk to reward isn't going to be there. And what do I mean by that? So if you're trading the break of the $59, that risk to reward might not really be there because our closest target is $55. So again, 3 points in there, depending on your stop, you may get a 3-to-1. But in other trades, like if you trade in the break of the $55, again, you come back to test as a resistance, you can have about a point or two stop. You got a target of 49. There you go. You can get a much better, 5 or 6 risk to reward. So that's kind of the importance as well as looking at direction. Maybe you only want to trade it if it goes to the upside. You don't want to trade it to the downside, but it's are you forcing trades or not? So again, this is our breakdown on PDD. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, why not drop a like and subscribe. But one thing to also note is we are now going to go through the futures funding process. So if you want to follow along on us getting funded, why don't you check out the channel. Again, the first episode of it is going to be uploaded today.